it's Jess here from Nigezza.co.uk. So hopefully you've come to join me for part 2 of this album. And I've just come from part 1 where I put it all together, and now we're going to decorate it. And we're going to look at our offcuts, because this is what I'm going to use for my pockets. Here I'm going to do that. So that is 5 inches. So I'm going to cut. This one doesn't need cutting because it is 7 inches. So that fits on there quite nicely. Nice little shallow pocket. We're going to cut it. I'm going to go a 1/16 under the 5 to allow for the bit there. And then that will fit in there quite nicely. So there, I'm just going to put a paper clip on this. So we'll cut that at 7 to go across there. Yep, like that. What I like about that is that I get to see quite a lot of this paper, which I really like. So that's a bonus. This has got some quite nice green in it. I could have a diagonal pocket on this one for a change. I didn't do that on the other book, but just sort of showing you can do different things. So 5 wide, and we'll come in. I came in a 1/16. I can go diagonally. Actually, I can do it a little bit off like that. Just eyeballing this. And that can be a pocket like that. Like it. And then we've still got bits for decorating when I'm making the tags. That could be another tag somewhere. So that is how I'm going to go with this. So let's start gluing in. Here we're gluing these pockets. In the other one I used washi tape to decorate these. I'm just going to glue them for now, and then I'll think about the other bits of decoration that I'm going to do. So we just want to run some Tombow down the 3 sides. Just a little bit down the 3 sides, and just glue it in place. That's going to have a tag made out of it. Right, we'll put this one. Going to put glue down there, along there and up there, obviously on the other side. What I used, I did all retired products on the other one, so I had lots of retired Project Life cards, and I thought I'd try and make some. I have got retired Memories and More cards and things, but I thought I might go through my stamps and see if we can have some fun making, just put that in there, making some tags, some sort of Project Life journaling cards, see what sentiments I can find. So going along there. And I made good size ones. With it being 7 by 5, you can get full-size photos in here, sort of full-size 6 by 4 photos, which is quite nice to be able to do that. So I'd make sort of photo mats that are bigger than 6 by 4, so that a 6 by 4 photo would go in and they would tuck in here quite nicely. Think about what colour cardstock I want to back the tag onto, and I could do some stamping on there as well. So I look at the colours that's in here, so something dark, so Blackberry Bliss would look quite nice. This measures 3.5 by 5, so if I cut this to 5 1/4 by 3 3/4, and then that would mat really nicely on there. To be tucked in there, and then we could think of a nice sort of sentiment to go on there. Looking at the stamps, so we've got Life is a Beautiful Thing, quite like that. That would fit there quite nicely, and that might make it quite a nice sort of statement on there. I've got these lovely dies here. I was just thinking I could if I cut this pink using this and then mounted it on that, and that gives it a nice sort of pretty effect, and I can still put that in the middle. So I've cut that out, and then I had to trim my mat down, so I trimmed it down to 5 by 3.5, and it gives us a nice sort of border around. So I think that's very pretty. So I'm going to stamp, so I need Blackberry Bliss, and I think that is a very nice journaling card. So move that off there, put that straight, and that's lovely. Now I think nice to be reminded at this time, when lots of us are shut in, that life is indeed a nice, beautiful thing. So I'm just going to gently tap the edges so that they glue down as well. Stick that down. A little bit of oozing, but that will come off. And yeah, so that's my first journaling card. So that's that. And so I might do the same thing with that one, and then we've got a bit of sort of continuity going across. So I think I'd make that one in exactly the same way, but I don't need to do that now whilst you're watching. So I'm going to turn this into a tag. And then we've got the same with this one as well. Doing a similar sort of thing, except it's a different size, so we could go different sizes. Have a look at some of our layers here. I have this, that's quite a nice size, so I could cut it out of that and then mount that on. That takes in those flowers really nicely, so I think I'm going to do that. So I've cut that out, and I think that looks actually very pretty. And so then I measured it, and so I've cut this at 5.5 by 2.5, and it just mats around there with a really thin border all the way around. And again, I'm going to leave the back plain. I could add some Whisper White for a bit of journaling when I decide what I want to do. I think sometimes until you start filling it, you don't know what you want. So there we go. So that's another tag to go in there. So let's get this tag done. I'm really liking the look of these frames. So it's not long enough for this one, but what about this one? That would make it quite a bit smaller, actually. I could change the size of this and make it just a smaller version of one of these. Let's have a go at changing the size. So let's have a go. So put that on the end there. And I will stop before I get to the end. So that's taken all that. So now I'm going to go on this side, and I'm going to feel that locked in place. So those holes have locked in. So I just want to come down to about there. I don't want it to move. Right, that's locked in place. Got to make sure it doesn't move, otherwise it will all go horribly wrong. So we don't need to go all the way along, we just need to go to the point that isn't cut. And I've got my fingers crossed that this has worked. Oh, do believe it has. Not quite. I must have moved it. Never mind. I think it's okay. I think I can live with that. Yeah. So 5 by 2.5. Okay, so I've started making the big mats for inserting in the pockets. So I've gone through and I decided which colours I want, and I've cut them at 6.5 by 4.25, because although this is 5 inches wide, 4.5 was a bit wide because of the gluing. So wanted to make sure that they fitted in really well. Okay, so I've cut some for each. This one is smaller because this has got glue on both sides, and it was actually a bit of an off-cut that was left. So that is 6 inches by 3.75 in that one. That one's going to have a tag made. That's the same 6.5 by 4.25. Yep. And I kind of got 2 and then some offcuts out. I've gone with Calypso Coral on this one. It's not my favourite colour, so I will be doing things with that. I haven't cut one for there because I haven't. I meant to go, just I got round to it. Gone for Mossy Meadow in there. Really like the look of that. And then this one's a bit thinner. It was just the off cut, and I know why I didn't cut the other one because I hadn't pulled it out. So that one's 6.5 by 4 because I cut the other one at 4 1/4, so that leaves us 4 on this one. Okay, so now I'm going to sort of make the tags, and I think I'm going to continue to use this lovely die set. So I'm going to use, I haven't used the big one yet, but I'm going to do that now, and I might do some journaling, you know, some stamping words and cut them out to look pretty. And I also will use the layers. Where are they? Not the layers, the borders. Yeah, these are ornate borders, these are ornate layers. Yeah, and I think I might use some of these to trim the edges of these pockets, and to decorate. Where's the ones that are coming down? To sort of decorate in there as well. I think that will look nice. Okay, so I'm going to get those sorted. So I'm going for Just Breathe, and I think it will fit in here. So I think I'm going to use Whisper White cardstock and Blackberry Bliss ink on all of them probably. I think that'd be quite nice to have that as a theme running through. So I'm going to get this. I did think of sort of layering it, but I think that's just a little bit too big. It would cut that swirl off a bit, which wouldn't be too bad. Or I can just cut it out of that, and then it can be mounted on a bit of Blackberry Bliss cut out with that, which I think would look lovely. So I'm going to do that. So I've cut my Just Breathe and my card, and then I cut a piece of Whisper White to fit on the other side, and this is cut 2 1/8 by 5, and it sort of fits in quite nicely inside those. I'm going to stick it on that side actually, inside those stitching like so. And I want lines on it because I want this to be like journaling. And so I've had a brainwave, and we'll see if this works. So I'm going to use my grid paper, and I'm going to use a bit of washi, and I'm going to tape this down at the bottom and the top so it doesn't move. And I'm going to use the lines on my grid mat to help me draw the lines across. And I'm going to use a Blackberry Bliss Stampin' Right marker, and I'm going to use the pen end as opposed to the brush end, and I'm just going to draw lines across at every square. So that they are all the same distance apart and should be straight. Now you might have, like me, lots and lots of stamp sets to stamp on lines and draw write words and things. You may have made your own. One way of making it is wrapping elastic bands around a wooden block or acrylic block so that you can stamp them, but I decided that I would come up with a way that you can do, if you haven't got your own stamps, you haven't got any blocks that you could create your own with. And I quite like the way, don't quite know why this is happening, but it seems to, the ink seems to be coming out. Not even, but I like that. I think this is quite an old pen. This is from when Blackberry Bliss was an in colour, so it's very old, this this pen, so it might dried up a bit. I did get a new one, but I don't actually use that side very often. I think it's all right on the brush end. Right, that's Moment of Truthio. Seem to have pulled up a little bit on the corner. You need to be careful with washi, but there, that's the lines in, and I could stamp something at the top. Remember, memory, something. We've got Just Breathe on that side. I could put something on the other. Quite like the idea of remember. Oh, I could just do moments. Maybe you can pick out just words from I do like the words memory or remember. Don't think I've got one of those to pick out. I think I might have thoughts somewhere. But it would be nice to have or I could do dreams. Let's have this, and I just want dreams, and that could go on the top. So you could do this by masking it off if you don't have a Stampin' Right marker. And you could mask the other two off and stamp. See, there's loads of ink on this side and not much on the other. Let's see what that stamp's like. Not brilliant, it's a bit too might be because I've never stamped this stamp, I don't think. It's getting better as it's being used. Yep, I think that'll work. So at the top there, just gonna put my head in, sorry. Dreams. Not the best bit of stamping, but you get the idea. And then there's a little heart. Which I could put in as well. One of my little squares. Got to use the ink pad for this. Oh, was nearly a disaster. Oh. There we go. And then that's a little journaling card. Done. Could do something at the bottom there. Take a nice little swirl from something. But that's the type of thing that I'm going to be going through and doing, and so then we just need to glue it all down. I'm going to leave that to dry a sec. So we'll glue this to the front. Oh, I want some bits on the edges. Let's just put a bit of that on there, and then we'll just tap the edges through the glue so they glue down as well. Don't really think there's an up or a downside for this. Right, I've got a little, managed to, just going to put that edge through there. There, sorted. And there's a handmade journaling card ready to go in the journal somewhere when it's done. So I'll carry on putting a few of those together and you get the idea of what I'm doing. So I've completed this double page. So I made some journaling cards and a little tuck spot there and a nice big journaling card here. Well, this could be a photo mat, which is actually what I was thinking. So I'm going to show you how I did these on this page. Okay, so I have actually made the journaling card here, which is the same as the way I did that one, which I'm sure I showed you. So that's that one nicely done. So we want a bit of a border there. So I've just used the punch to make that. You can use borders from this border, what are they called? Ornate borders. So that fits quite nicely along there, but you might not have those, and you might have the lacy punch, which I just realised I haven't brought to the desk. Well done, Jess. So there is this punch here. Works quite well to give that a bit of a border. And then to make the tuck spot, I used the large, let's get it out. I used this large, so to sort of match that, I used this large layer here and just cut a little triangle. So I had a bit of scrap card, which I've got some here. Just trying to find the right sort of size. So I've got one there. So I am just going to cut just the corner like so. I've used this one as opposed to this one because I wanted it to stick better, really. So I'm just going to bring in my big shot to show you. Let's try and do as much on camera as possible. So just lining it up along that corner there, so we don't have to have it the entire size, because we just want it on the corner. You know me, I like to bring it back. To be fair, I can't lift it that way, there's a window there. Keep thinking one of these days I'm gonna break the blooming thing, aren't I? But hey ho, I'm sure I'll be fine. So there we go, that's that. Get rid of that, and then just bring in my trimmer and sort of, I think I went to sort of like about 3 inches. Not that it matters too much, but I know some people like to have a bit of preciseness. So let's say we're going to go to 3 inches. So I may as well cut this to 3 inches, because we're going to have it like a square. So we'll cut that bit off. So we've got like a 3-inch square, and so then we're just going to cut down this diagonal. So I'm going to start in the middle because it's hard to cut on the point, and then that is our lovely corner sorted. You could make another one now with that one for another page, so I'm going to put that to one side. I'm going to get my little brush, because working with these dies, this brush is going to be your best friend. So it works really well at getting out those little dots. That's that done. So that goes on there, and then I took a triangle of this DSP. So there we go. I'm just going to stick that in there with a little bit of a border round to go on there to give a little bit of extra interest and a bit of a tuck spot. And then we've still got a big space there where we could put a big photo if wanted to. I'm not quite sure yet what I'm going to do on here. Yeah, so I thought I might sort of put down some memories of how I'm coping with 12 weeks of sheltering. So just had a very busy week, because I should have been away with friends this week, just gone up to Easter and Easter weekend, and so we did a lot of Zooming, so got lots of memories there to record. So I'm just putting a little bit of a bead along there, and then I'm just gonna put a blodge there and just put on these ends a little bit to hold down as well, and then I'm just sticking that in the corner with a bit of a border, so it's not right on the corner. Can't remember what I did on that page. Oh, I put that one right to the corner. Do this a little bit different. There we go. And I'm going to just snip. Those ends don't look very good, so I'm just going to snip that off. Like that. Snip that one off so it looks a little bit more sort of finished off there. Okay, so then we need a journaling card to go in there. On this one I've done white and blackberry bliss. This one I'm going to use petal pink. So I've got some petal pink, and I think I'm going to use this same one there, and cut this out with that. And I may or may not mat it on some Blackberry Bliss. I'll see what I think. And I've done a big statement there, and I'm thinking I'm just going to make this decorative, and I'm going to use some more of the layers. And what I quite like is this layer here, and then this one cut out, and then you'll be able to see through. The petal pink will come out. So that's my idea. So I'm going to get those cut out. I'm not going to do that on camera. I'll get those cut out. So that's those cut out, and then that fits on there really nicely. I did a recent card doing this that you might have seen, which is kind of what made me think about doing that. And if you look at this page here, I've done the same thing there as well, so it kind of carries the theme through. On this one I just used the layers here, and I will show you how I did that. I just used these 2 layers here to make that and married it across on this one, and I've used my punch on this. It's just a stitched rectangle, and it just makes it look pretty. When you're just looking at your album before you've put anything in it, it looks nice. So I'm going to stick those together, and that'll be there. And I'm just going to stick them, and I'm going to decide whether or not I want to mat it onto some Blackberry Bliss or not. Can't decide for now. So put these down. Put some dots up close where we can, and then I'm just going to go and tap the edges so that when it's going in and out, they'll be glued down a bit better. And then we'll just eyeball this to be in the middle. I can see, always manage to miss one. Get out. Get right out. There we go. So that's that done. Managed to get a bit of glue on there, but it's alright. It will rub off when it's dry. And then, do I want to mount it on some Blackberry Bliss? I haven't got the full size. See what that would look like. Let's put it in the book. Do we want to have the purple on the other side? Don't know. I'm going to do this layer here first. So to make, I'm going to do Blackberry Bliss along there. So I'm just going to use my scrap here. There. I do like this this punch, and I often use it for finishing off pockets in albums. Works really well. But so you could die cut. We do have some nice dies in this ornate garden suite. There we go. That go across there nicely. I'm going to cut that off because it fits well. Do it so that it comes down that way. Perfect. And then I can just lob that end bit off there a bit. Actually want it cut that way, don't I? Yeah, still works. So just a little bead along there. I recently bought myself some sort of needle point ends, little glue bottles, and I've decanted some of my collard glue in one. It's perfect. And I'm going to empty a Tombow into one and see how it works in Tombow, and then you wouldn't have had that oozing. But I will go over with my glue rubber and take that off. So now I can go on the back side there and just take that off there, and that goes down nice. I don't know where that bit, there it is. So do I want border, no border? Going to leave it for now. No, I do like it with a border. I think it finishes it off and it kind of matches. So I need some Blackberry Bliss. Getting through lots and lots of Blackberry Bliss. But it's my favourite colour, which is kind of why I wanted to do it. Right, so let's have a look at the size of this. So it is 5 3/8, I would say. Yep, 5 3/8. And it is 3 7/8. So let me write this down because I will forget. So it's 5 3/8 by 3 7/8. And so I've got to decide, do I want a little 1/8 of an inch border? So I've got to add 2/8 to it. So I want to go 5 5/8 by 4 1/8. That's what we want to do, and that'll give us a nice 1/8 of an inch border all round. Bring it in, see if I like it. Yeah, I think that works. I think that does work better. I was deciding whether or not I wanted to cut this down. I quite like it. Might round the corners on that one, but then I'd have to round the corners on this one, and I'm not sure that I would like that. Now I could create an extra pocket on this by only doing 3 sides, and then we'd have a pocket coming down there. I might try that. Then we've got a little bit of something else that we could put in. That wasn't a very straight one there. I am going to put a little bit of extra glue because I want it to be strong, for goodness sake. Stick that on the other one, leave that to dry, and then I might be able to rub it off. Don't you just hate it when that happens? So there we go, and I have got a little tag in here somewhere for that one. I've got it stuck there with that on it. I might take that off. And put that in there. And we'd call that finished with an extra little tag there. So that's that page done. So that's quite quick and nice. I like that. So the next thing I was going to do, those are done, is this one. So I was going to do that one a little bit similar to this one. I was like, where's the page with a pocket on the side? It's here. The only difference is this one's got a pocket there and I haven't got a pocket there. But I'm going to show you how I did this effect, and I'm going to do that effect across there so that you can see it. On this page, because I really like this paper, I didn't want to put too much, so I'm just going to do these borders, and I'm going to use Petal Pink, and then I'll probably use Mossy Meadow, because that's what I've used there to bring out the Mossy Meadow in here. So got me Petal Pink. That's not long enough. That one is. So the way I cut this border, if I bring out, there we go, so we bring out one of these. So we took these two borders here, and I put that one close up to the edge, and then this one with the scallops facing away from this one. It helps if you put it the right way down, Jez. And then these, so the straight edge is on the inside, and I left just a little bit of a gap, and then I got some washi tape and held them in place to sort of maintain an even gap along. I've got washi tape stuck on the cupboard here. It is a bit, that was a bit sticky. That is not straight. Like so. And then, and I've got to make it a bit longer because the it's okay for that, but it won't be okay for the pocket. It falls a bit short of the pocket, so we're going to have to extend it. So I am going to show you how I did that. So putting that on my mat, and although I've got a magnetic mat, I've got a very big curvature going on here with my cutting mat, and that's why washi tape is essential. So just double checking again, putting it at a slight angle so that it's not going straight in. I am limited, given that I've used quite a big piece of cardstock here. That'll work now. There we go. So now peel these washi off carefully, because you do find, because it's been through the die cutter, it has been pressed hard and fast to the cardstock, and it can pull a little bit up. So let's just pull these bits off. So that cuts it all the way out, and we've got a nice even spread, but we want to make it a bit longer. So I'm just going to push the cardstock up there a little bit, and we kind of just want to match. Having the washi tape on it helps us keep it in the right place. we just want to match these up a little bit to where we've cut before. There's the end of that one. So I'm just putting it next to it. And just pushing it down. It's not going to be perfect, but it'll be good enough. And then just run it through, and then that just cuts that end bit. And gives us that longer border. Right, so we've got a little bit of, I'm leaving those attached because we're going to cut another one. So we've got a little bit of a gap there, but not much. Not so that I would lose sleep over it. Could put it together a little bit better, but it doesn't bother me, it being like that. Now let's move this out the way. I'm going to bring in my brush again to get rid of these bits. So I'm going to do the lacy side first. That comes out quite easily. And then what I do on this side is I kind of try and get a brush bristle, try saying that quickly, so that it goes in the holes. You can kind of feel that you've got it in there, and pull it back, and then it gets them all out. Always lose the odd one, but there it is. And then I just, for the odd one that I miss, I just use my pokey tool, and that is so much better than poking them all out. So you can get a brush attachment if you've got our pick me up tool, whatever it's called. So that is now ready for this pocket. And now you just need a bit of cardstock to go in there. Yep, that'll do lovely. Now we just want a tiny bit. It is, what have I left? It's really, we're looking at about 1/8 of an inch. So 1/8 of an inch, kind of, oh, that's my old one. Do you know, I picked this up just now and I thought, feels heavier. It's much lighter. I was using the old one the other day just for the scoring, because I was doing a Zoom lesson, and with my sister, and she's got the old one. So in order to cut 1/8 off this side, it's kind of hard. So the best way to do it is go on this side, to look here, and go down 1/8 there, and then that'll give you, so there we go, we go down 1/8. That's a 16th, that's 1/8, so we should have 1/8 hanging over this side, like so. And then that will stick down in that gap, and that gives us sort of a nice little decorative edge. And then we'll do the same round the edge of that mat there, and then I might even do one, I think I'll put it up there actually, so we'll have a shorter one going up there to match it, because there's a little bit of a space there. I'll put that way just to give that a little bit of a decorative element, ready to put whatever on top. I'm going to put it on this as opposed to the strip of cardstock, because I think this is the easier way of doing it. glue along there, and then I just want to check my page because I can't remember. Oh, well done. I just checked my page, I can't remember which way I had the lace going. I do sort of want it to match, so had it going. On this one I had the lace to the top. I actually don't think it matters. I am going to put the lace to the top because I think that looks nicer. I can see one that I haven't poked out. There we go. And if I use my grid mat to help me, so that I keep it in a straight line. I think that's gone nice. And then just turn it round to the back and trim that off so we get it close to the edge. Flush to the edge. Then that sort of matches and looks quite pretty. And then you can put a strip along there as well in exactly the same way. So I've still got that back page to do, which I'm going to do very similar to that. This strip I did out of the DSP and just put a bit of white on it, and then that one I didn't do the second border on that. I just did it on the edge so that it gave it a straight edge, just to have something different. So yeah, so we've just got this last page to do here, which I'm doing very similar to this one. So I'm just going to do a little journaling card with that one and put some decorative elements on here. And so this is the same as the one I did on the front. Is I kind of got most of that out of this, but I might try and make it longer. Well, somehow it didn't film. Obviously I didn't press record, so I made it longer in the same way as I made the other tag shorter, and then I cut out Happy Day from Word Wishes dies, and I cut a strip using the punch to finish this off. And so as it's quite long, I've decided to do the decorating of the front cover and adding the ribbon closure in part 3. Okay, so I'll see you then. All the details will be all in one blog post at nigezza.co.uk. Thanks for watching.